People call it the game of kings, but in reality chess is more of a tool for magicians. People don't realise it, but the pieces in a game of chess on the chessboard were never designed for gaming. They were designed to do impossible things. And in today's episode, you're going to learn exactly what those things are. We'll start with the most common pieces on the chessboard, the pawns. The pawns aren't just pawns, you see. The pawns are designed to do something very strange. They're designed to find one another. I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to place these 1, 2, 3 pawns in that hand. Then I'm going to remove one and place it in my pocket, like so. Now obviously that should leave me with 2 pawns in this hand, but the pawn that's gone away immediately finds its brothers, leaving us with 1, 2, 3 pawns again. There we are. I'll tell you what, this time we'll do it a little differently. I'll take 1, 2 pawns. This one won't even go into my hand this time. This one's going to go into my pocket. And once again, my hand stays in my pocket to make sure I can't possibly cheat while I do this. And we end up with 1, 2, 3 pawns back on the board. This time we'll just place 1 pawn in this hand, take the others into this hand, and both hands are going to stay on the table this time. There we are, just 1 pawn in this hand. And there we are, all 3 end up in the other hand. Now, the pawns are an interesting little piece of magic in and of themselves, but they're not the most impressive part of a chess set. After all, they're just little men who find one another. Little men who are loyal, the foot soldiers. It's when we get to the higher ranking pieces that things get really interesting. I said in part 1 that the pawns were the least interesting part of a chess set. That's not to denigrate them, it's just that a lot of the other pieces do have even stranger properties. Which brings us to a middle-ranked chess piece, the rooks. Now the rooks are particularly unusual, because it's generally held that pieces can't pass through one another except the knights, which jump over one another in the actual game. But I mean, in the laws of physics it's held that one solid object can't pass through another. Let me demonstrate. If we place 1 rook in the crook of this thumb here, and 1 rook in the crook of the other thumb, and we form a loop and we try to pull them apart, that's what happens. Because one solid object can't pass through another, and we've formed a solid loop with our hands. In fact, if you've got a chess set handy, try it. But watch what happens if I just give my hands a twist. I'll do that again. Obviously, nothing happens if I try to pull the pieces straight out, but with a twist of my hands, if I twist the pieces, that gives them just enough magical momentum to phase right through one another. The strangest piece in any chess set is the knight, specifically the dark knight, because not all dark knights want to be dark. Not all knights want to stay in accordance with their given side. Some have ideas of swapping, seeing if the grass really is greener on the other side. Why don't we give this one a hand? In addition to the knight, I also have one of these. An ordinary silk handkerchief. Now this is going to be very important because it is this that's going to allow our knight to transform. I'll show you what I mean. Let me place the knight on the silk handkerchief. Now watch. If I wrap up the knight like so, now what we should have here, very simply, is the black knight wrapped in a blue silk handkerchief. But as I said, the knights don't always stay on the same side. Of course, no set of chess-based magic tricks would be complete without a mention of this guy, the king. The most important piece on the board, the piece everybody wants to get. I'm going to show you how you can humble a king. You see, it's really very simple. All you do is you place your hands over him and you press down and you press down and you press down until, instead of a king, all you have is a little flat drafts piece. And since we've now transitioned completely from one game to another, I'd say that that's the end of the show. I've been Victor the Magician, and I'll see you next time for more magic.